Okay, so we're going to start by talking about character interaction. When you interact with someone, that is how you're behaving towards that person, what you're saying, and how you guys treat each other. Okay? So, same thing when you're reading a book. You want to think about how those characters are interacting with one another and how that changes from the beginning of the story to the middle of the story to the very end, and how we resolve the conflict. So, the story that we're going to read today is titled The Longest Shortcut. Okay? The shortcut. We could be swimming right now, said Alicia, and her friends Paula and Khalid nodded. Their whole class had gone to Lake Elgin that morning for a camping trip. Alicia and her friends had to stay behind to finish the science project. They were driving up to the lake tomorrow with Dion Jones and his father. We finished the project 2 hours ago, and now we have to sit here and do nothing, Paula said sadly. At that moment, however, Dion rushed in the house. Hey, everyone, he shouted. My father doesn't have to go to work today after all. He'll take us to the lake right now if you're ready to go. All right, said Khalid. Let's go. They all jumped to their feet and ran outside to Mr. Jones's van. As they climbed into the van, Mr. Jones apologized for the pile of old newspapers in the back. No problem, Dad, Dion said, as he settled into the passenger seat next to his father. Our sleeping bags and supplies went on the bus this morning, so there's plenty of room. The lake was only 150 miles away, but there were so many cars on the road that the main highway was a parking lot. There's a metaphor there, saying that the highway was a parking lot. The news announcer on the radio said that there had been an accident ahead. Although no one was hurt, the police were still directing traffic slowly around the dented cars. With all of this traffic, it won't really matter that we left early today, moaned Khalid. Yeah, by the time we get past the accident, it will be tomorrow, Dion added. Mr. Jones decided to leave the main highway. I know a shortcut, he said. There's an old dirt road that goes over Mount Wilson. I've taken the road 100 times to get around traffic like this. Is that road safe? Paula asked. Mr. Jones assured her that the road was safe, and he started listing all his safety equipment. A cell phone, a TV radio, a first aid kit, a flashlight, matches, and so Paula felt better. Hey, Khalid pointed to the canvas on Paula's lap and asked, what's in there? Paula opened the bag to show him what was inside. Bottled water, snack bars, and a box of plastic trash bags. Khalid started laughing, but Paula said, there are never enough trash bags when you're going camping. I forgot to put this bag on the bus, and I'm bringing it now because we'll want snacks later. Everyone, however, continued to tease Paula about her trash bags. The air grew cooler as they drove down the road, and at last the heater had to be turned on. Then Alicia pointed out the window and asked in wonder, that white stuff on the ground isn't snow, is it? Mr. Jones said, that's snow, all right. These last patches of snow may not be melted for a while. It's warmer in the valley, but up here it gets very cold at night. Suddenly, Dion yelled, oh no! And pointing up the hillside where a big rock had come loose. It was rolling down toward them. Mr. Jones tried to stop the van, but the large rock hit the front tire and knocked the van toward the side of the road. The road was icy and wet with snow, and the van slid sideways and over the edge of the road. A second later, bushes and trees were rushing at them as the van slipped down the hill. Everyone screamed and anxiously looked out the window, searching for the bottom of the hill, but it was so far away they could not see it. So, when we're talking about how our characters are interacting with one another, we know that their relationship with each other, the kids all go to school together, they're friends, and in the beginning of the story, they were a little disappointed that they weren't able to go on this camping trip with everyone else because they had to finish their science project. And then once they find out that they are going to end up going with the rest of their friends on the camping trip, and they get to leave a little earlier than expected, they get really excited. But as the story continues and they run into traffic, Their excitement quickly turns into frustration because they are now stuck behind piles and piles of cars due to, well, not piles of cars, they're stuck behind a long line of cars due to an accident. And then we come to the end of our chapter where they end up going off the road and getting struck by a large rock that rolls down a hill, and they are extremely scared and anxiously screaming out of fear for what is to come. So just in those 4-ish pages, we had our characters go through a lot of different emotions. So that is our character interaction for the beginning of this book.